higher calls for community. It is an honor to recommend the naming of our softball field after a man who has given and will continue to give of his time, energy, and efforts to ensure our student athletes have whatever is needed. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Styron. Do we have anyone else with any comments regarding this issue? If not, do I hear a motion that we adjourn the hearing?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adjourn this hearing.
Is there a second? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Styron, for being here. We truly do appreciate your words. And we will be dealing with that situation shortly.
Thank you.
And make sure the river doesn't rise. You're responsible for that. That is your responsibility.
I know it's a little bit early, but we're going to begin our regular school board meeting. And certainly, it's great to see each of you here this evening on this rainy and somewhat windy night. And as you probably know by now, we have a 2-hour delay tomorrow for our schools. We know school is off to a wonderful start. And on the first 3 days of school, the board visited our 24 of our schools. You know, early college and middle college had started a few weeks in advance, so we visited the other 24 schools in those 3 days, from about 8 o'clock to about 1 o'clock each of those 3 days. And most of the board, well, on Tuesday, all of us was able to go. We know some people have more flexible schedules and are able to go, and others have jobs and commitments and so forth, so we understand that. But we really had a great time. I think they can all vouch for that. We enjoyed getting out into the schools and seeing the enthusiasm not only of the teachers but also the students. They were on task and excited, and we were very pleased by that. And just want to thank the board for being active in that. It's wonderful for the board to be involved in that way. We also know that there's an effort afoot within the school system, the high schools, the three traditional high schools, to partner with a school in Houston, Texas. And at this time, I'd like to, Mr. Caldwell, would you like to explain that just a little bit?
Yes, sir, to the best I can.
Do you?
Chairman Pendle, Dr. Stone. It really was the idea of Kim Clark, who's an assistant principal at South Caldwell, to reach out to a principal in Houston. And through the collective efforts of all three traditional high schools, South Caldwell leading the way, High Brighton and West Caldwell, we have been collecting school supplies for students. We're also adopting staff members. Each of the three schools has taken a staff member to adopt and to send a shoebox full of things that we would need when we have our kids return to school. Those efforts are ongoing. South and High Brighton played football Friday night, and we had banners on the way in for South fans to sign, for High Brighton fans to sign. And at halftime, the cheerleaders from the two schools combined on the field to show the banners to both South Caldwell and High Brighton High schools, to show that even though we may be competitive on the football field, when it comes to helping another school, we can come together. West Caldwell is also having a similar effort at their school as well. The last day is September the 15th, and we are really happy to say that we still have donations coming in. And as a matter of fact, Ms. Darcy dropped some off at High Brighton this morning, so thank you, Ms. Darcy. And all three high schools will continue to collect until the 15th, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. It's great that Kim Clark at South Caldwell has spearheaded this, and that all three high schools have jumped in or helping out with this. It's such a worthy cause. So thank you very much, and I'm sure a lot of people will be contributing to that over the course of the next week or so. Next, we have the invocation for the board, and tonight, our Vice Chairman, Mr. Dwayne Knight, is going to do that.
Thank you. Today marks the anniversary of one of the most heartbreaking events in American history, the terror attacks of 9/11. From the very moment the first plane hit the North Tower, our country pulled together and stood tall in the wake of tragedy. Hurricanes Harvey and Irma have created great destruction and overwhelming sadness for our fellow Americans. But these disasters sparked a perseverance and a goal for regrowth and renewal in all of us. We as Americans are resilient. We are survivors. We draw strength from each other as we lift our brothers and sisters up in time of need and crisis to see the hope of a new day. It is the optimism and continual hope that drives our country and our beloved Caldwell County towards greatness. With the new school year beginning, we can see a true meaning of American optimism, hope, and perseverance in our students' faces, and the enthusiasm the entire Caldwell County School faculty and staff bring to them every day. As we go forward in 2017-18 school year, we humbly ask that God's hand be guidance upon all of us. Let's pause for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Knight, for those words. Certainly, there's a lot of issues with a lot of people going on in our country today, and the reminders of 9/11 in addition to the immediate concerns of Harvey and Irma. So let's keep those people in our thoughts and prayers as we go forward. It's going to be a long road for many people there. Next, we have our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Tonight, we have two students from Hudson Elementary School. They're both fifth graders. We have Brittany Watson, daughter of Chuck and Karen Watson, and Carter Bly, the son of Allison Bly.
Attention, salute, pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Carter and Brittany, for being with us tonight. We appreciate your coming out on this rainy night.
And we're going to let you sleep 2 hours late tomorrow, so that's kind of your payback. So thank you. Thank you, parents, for braving the weather, too.
Next, we have approval of the agenda, and the board's had opportunity to review the agenda. Do I hear a motion we approve the agenda as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, is there a second? Second. Any comments? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we have approval of the minutes. August 14th, 2017, we had a regular session here in this room, and the board's had an opportunity to review the minutes of that meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the August 14th meeting?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes of the August 2017 meeting.
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. At this time, we usually have our public comment. I want to give, we have Nathan Key with us here tonight. Nathan, do you? Yes. We're happy to have you here tonight. We know that it's your dad that is the person in question at Collettsville, who we're going to consider naming the field for it. Didn't know if you wanted to add anything or not. Mr. Styron has spoken quite eloquently about him. So you're just going to say amen to that?
I'll make him say it again.
youth athletics in Caldwell County, and I think it's, in my opinion, that doesn't count for a whole lot, but it's a very humbling thing, and it's a very well-deserved recognition people should see. So thank you for the consideration on behalf of my family.
Okay, thank you, Nathan. We appreciate your being here.
Thank you.
Next, announcements. On Thursday at 9 o'clock, here in this room, we're going to have the back-to-school breakfast. So that's always a big event. It's kind of a floating event. People in and out during the course of, from 9 till probably 10:30 or so.
10.
9 to 10. September 27th, the board will be traveling to Avery County High School for the District 7 meeting. And we're going to need to be there at 4 o'clock, and we'll talk more specifically about when we'll leave, more than likely somewhere around 2:30 or so. September 29th, 2017, we have an early release day. And our next board meeting scheduled for this room is on October 9th, 2017. Anybody else have an announcement of any date you can think of? Okay, we're going to go to honors and recs at this time, and honors and recognitions. And I want to ask Libby Brown, our Community Relations Director, to come forward, and we'll move down to congratulate those winning awards.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman Pennell, Vice Chairman Knight, board members, and Dr. Stone. The National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association recently recognized Derek Reeves, Athletic Director at High Brighton High School, as a certified athletic administrator. To earn this distinction, Derek demonstrated the highest level of knowledge and expertise in the field of interscholastic athletic administration. The voluntary certification process included a thorough evaluation of the candidate's educational background, experience, and professional contributions, as well as a rigorous, comprehensive written examination. So that was a lot. I'm just worn out saying all that. Derek is one of an elite group of interscholastic athletic administrators nationwide to attain this level of professionalism. So it is our great honor and privilege to recognize Athletic Director of High Brighton High School, Derek Reeves, this evening. So if you'll come forward, Derek. And Mr. Caldwell, his principal, is here, so do you want to join him, please? The moment is his, okay. Thank you for being here to support him.
And Derek, we're going to give you a chance in a moment if you want to say something. You can say go Panthers, or Derek is in the middle, so we can get a picture with you. Derek, anything you want to say?
No, I'm just thankful and blessed for the school that I work at, the mentors that I've had. Chuck Cannon was a great mentor to me who prepared me for this, the leadership that we have at High Brighton, and it's just my opportunity to do the best that I possibly can for High Brighton High School, and I thank them for the opportunity to give me this chance. So I'm thankful.
And not to mention, you have a highly successful program there, so that's a tribute to you. Thank you.
Would also like to recognize another employee in the Caldwell County Schools, Mike Swanson. He is in his 18th year of teaching plumbing and carpentry, and he is now at West Caldwell High School. He has 7 Skills USA State Champions under his belt, and the last 4 consecutive years at the National Championships. He has been named the North Carolina Home Builders Association Teacher of the Year. So we are very proud of Mike Swanson, if he'd like to come up, and I know CTE Director Libby Huff is here to support him, so let's congratulations. And Jessica, yes, Jessica, I want to call you LaRose, but she is also here to support him. So thank you for being here for the administration of West Caldwell and CTE Director.
You guys want to join him?
Would you like to come up for a photo?
Mike, you want to take a picture, and then if you want to say anything, we'd be more than glad to.
Yeah, turn around. Would you like to say anything, Mike?
I'll just,
Yeah, that's all.
I'd like to thank the Home Builders Association for this award. They really support our program at West Caldwell and the programs. As you know, it's a masonry contest. They also support a lot of the programs we do here. And like I say, I'd like to thank those, give me the opportunity. They have really supported our students as they go to the national contest, which you know it's a week-long event, and it's usually pretty far out of town, like it's in Louisville, Kentucky. And they have really helped our students with financing, being able to eat, and do everything. So I'd like to thank our local home builders as well as our state home builders.
It's a long bus ride, isn't it?
It is.
Yes, and now we have a special presentation by Dr. Stone.
Well, Dr. Burns, if you'll join me.
And Dr. Burns, would you like to join him?
This is one of the heaviest plaques I've ever gotten, so it takes two of us to hold it, but I'm gonna let, as you know, Cole County Schools went through the Southern, or Advanced Ed, we used to call Southern Association last year. In April, we had our visit, but it took probably a year preparations for that, and most of that preparations took place between Dr. Burns, the EPS staff, and through principal meetings and through principals, so it's quite an honor. A lot of school districts don't choose to do this self-reflection anymore. Caldwell County chose to do that, and we learned a lot. And it's always nice when other people come in and tell you that you're as good as you think you are, and some things you're better than you think you are. Maybe one thing that we weren't as good as we thought we were, but we'll work with that. But I would like to present this to Carol, to present to the Board of Education. And Carol, you want to read it? You read better than I. You use that accent that I don't have.
And, for the principals here, we'll celebrate at the end of the month, yours is coming. It says, this is to certify the Caldwell County school system has met the criteria for educational quality established by the Advanced Accreditation Commission, and is hereby presented this certificate of accreditation by the NCA Commission on Accreditation and School Improvement, the Northwest Accreditation Commission, and the SACS Commission, there's where you're looking for, on accreditation and school improvement. And this is good until June the 30th, 2022. Yes, and I want to say special thanks to the EPS staff. They all had to work on this. And with special thanks to Katrina Kelly, because that was one of her special duties. And then I want to thank the principals, and there are two of them here, and they tell you, we really work, got three of them here. 3 years, didn't we? I can see they're shaking their heads. Every month, a lot of drinking. But it was worth it. They worked hard, but they were barked at a great deal, but when we got through, we were really proud of what we had done. So give this to Daryl. We're proud of this, we're going to hang it high.
Go to the middle.
Well, I'm not the one, I can't do that. It's a heavy one.
I think it's it.
I think we're good. No, we don't have a particularly big crowd tonight, but if some of you need to go for dinner or do some other things, now would be an appropriate time. Thank you for being here.
Craig, we meant what we said about that water up there. Now, you watch that. Nathan, if you want to stick around, we're going to vote a little bit later on, if you want to be here for that, on the naming of the field. Yes.
We are.
Yes. We had public comment tonight, so we'll be voting on tonight, so stick around. We'd love for you to take the message back to your dad.
All right, at this time, I'd like to turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. Steve Stone.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board and audience, we had a very smooth opening of school. We are continuing to enroll students every day, and very pleased about that. Had a few bus, issues, but as to be expected. And we are, of course, very excited about the Communities in Schools Pack the Bus that received over 26,000 items that was donated to our kids. They actually have even talked about possibly even going further and continuing to collect as we get closer to Christmas and into the spring, when we know that many kids run out of supplies at that point. So not making it more than just a one-time thing. So we're very excited about that. The ABC report was released. We've got some work to do, but overall, the progress is strong. Many of our schools improved in their percentage of proficiency. Overall, the district saw an increase in proficient. We'll go through the numbers at our fall work session, but I think you'll be pleased with the progress that the district has made. All subgroups have made progress over last year. We do know the ABC grades are out there. We have some things ahead that we need to work on, and we'll be presenting some plans as well during the fall work session in October. So, but again, very smooth opening of school. Just very quickly speak to, Jeff is in a hot spot, having to make that call about tomorrow with Hurricane Irma or Tropical Storm Irma. We decided under wisdom to kind of go for 2-hour delay, and if we discover that it's worse than we think, that'll give us an opportunity in the morning to make that last-minute call to cancel. So we're watching the water at Collegeville and all over the place. Lenore actually too, so, but just wanted you to know that's the 2-hour delay for us tomorrow, so we can get up or he can get up and look around. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, moving on for board action, you have one policy, or two really, but one I'd like to talk about is 4150, which is school assignments. This is our transfer policy. The administration is recommending the additional language on page 5, basically saying that this has to do with the special provisions of school employees having some special rights to transfers. We'd like to include language that says school system employees working at least 25 hours per week receive that particular consideration. And this will certainly help us. We haven't had a problem with it in the past, but we thought it needed a little bit of clarity. So we'd like to put that out for 1 month comment period. 4150.
Okay, do I hear a motion that policy 4150 on school assignments be placed for a 1 month comment period?
Make a motion, we put policy 4150 for school assignments on a 1 month policy period.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we have a new board policy, 3103, dual enrollment of private and homeschool students for your consideration for a 1 month comment period. A little bit of the process. This is a policy that we borrowed heavily from another district. We've taken it to the North Carolina School Boards Association, and they made some suggestions. We brought it back here, fine-tuned by the EPS staff and others. And so we believe this is a very good policy that will allow us to reach out into our homeschool and private school students to get them to dually enroll in Caldwell County schools. The benefit for them, of course, and as a public school system, I think at this point, we all realize that we've got to be competitive for students. Charters and private schools and homeschools are very competitive. So we think this will give us an opportunity to provide a service to homeschool and private school students that perhaps they cannot achieve in their school. So by being a dual student, they will be able to plug into some of our cultural arts programs, our CTE programs, our athletic programs, our foreign language programs, or even our academic programs, math, reading, whatever.
It will give them a chance to reconnect to the public system. It will also give us a chance to claim them as an ADM, which will help our membership, and would also, we think, strengthen that tie between the public system and the private and the homeschool. And the ultimate goal, or my ultimate goal, is that they get back, they discover how wonderful we are, and they enroll full-time. But this is out there for a 30-day comment period, and again, it has been, we have had the North Carolina School Boards Association check it for legality and to make cross-reference to the laws. We'd like to recommend that 3103 dual enrollment of private homeschool students be put out for a 30-day comment period.
Mr. Chairman, I move that Board Policy 3103, dual enrollment of private and homeschool students, be put on a 30-day comment period.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
If this is approved, when would it be in effect?
Immediately. And actually, I would and have been encouraging homeschoolers to consider, and I'll be trying to connect with the homeschool network to get some more back into the public. But yeah, it'd be immediately, and to be honest with you, I'm probably recruiting now if I can.
Any other comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My last item tonight is the naming of the Collinsville softball field. I think from our public hearing, we've heard some wonderful comments about Mr. Denny Key, his commitment to Collinsville, his interaction with the community there, his making the program so strong. The administration would like to recommend to the board the approval of naming the Collinsville softball field after Mr. Denny Key.
Do I hear a motion that the softball field at Collinsville be named after Denny Key?
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that we name the softball field at Collinsville School after Mr. Danny Key.
Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Second? Okay. Any comments or questions?
You may want to record that everybody tried to second it. Nathan, you saw that, didn't you? Everybody tried to second it.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It is unanimous.
Nathan, would you
Congratulations.
please convey to your dad that we certainly appreciate all he's done for Collinsville, and will do, and that we're honored to be able to honor him.
I will do that. Thank you very much. It's quite a recognition and quite an honor for our family. Thank you.
There's no question he has done a lot for that community. I've been involved in a lot of athletic things up in the Collinsville area as well. He's always been there, always been involved, so. Okay, anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Next, we'll call on our Associate Superintendent, Dr. Trish Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, I have 3 items for your attention this evening, beginning with Exhibit 3. Exhibit 3 includes usual and customary personnel items for your information only, requiring no action. Exhibit 4 includes usual and customary personnel items for your attention, requiring action. I respectfully recommend approval of these items as they have been presented to you.
Okay. We have the usual and customary personnel items for voting purposes. Do I hear a motion that we approve those as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the usual and customary personnel items as presented by Dr. Johnson.
Second.
Second. Any comments or questions?
Mr. Chair, I need to recuse myself from this vote, family members included.
Okay. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Exhibit 4, student transfers for the 2017-18 school year. Since your last board meeting, we received 103 requests for student transfers. Of the 103 requests, 89 meet established board criteria. We respectfully recommend approval of the 89. If approved tonight, that brings our total transfer request approval for the 2017-18 school year to 541.
Mr. Chairman, I student transfers as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, may I just ask Dr. Johnson a question,
Sure.
please? I just wondered, the 541, is that normally within range of what we normally have for transfers in a year?
It pretty much is, and what we have to keep in mind is that a lot of students are already enrolled. So anytime the residence changes, say if the parents move, they have the option of keeping their children within the school, but they must request a transfer to do that. And that's what happens a lot of our transfers. But we're right in line at this time of year with our transfer requests.
With what is usual and customary? Thank
Pretty
you for
much,
for
yes.
that. Thank you.
And just so you know, Ms. Edwards, at the fall work session, we will provide you a graphic chart of how many kids are on transfer at each school and where they're from.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
But you'll be surprised, it's a lot more than 541. That's only who've been approved this year.
Been
It doesn't
approved
account for
this
the ones who
year.
have continued in.
Already there.
And it also includes employees' children, so sometimes when parents move locations, they take their children to school with them as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson.
Thank you.
Next, we have Dr. Carol Burns, Associate Superintendent for Education Program Services.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, before I do that part, I will explain, Dr. Stone wanted me to tell you what was at your place. And what you have is the curriculum guides that we, the Educational Program Services staff prepares each year for parents, to be sent out to parents. In my conversations with several of you, it became very obvious that you didn't know such publications were done and sent out each year. So I thought we thought it'd be well if you saw them. You might be able to answer some questions. For parents and for yourself, those go K through 8, and then for high school, there's a high school bit, and rather than sending a syllabus for every course, we explain the rules and regulations and everything the high school parent should know, and those are done each year and sent home with parents. Sort of fulfills parts of the law that says federal and state that we inform the parents about the curriculum. And that is our evidence that we have done just that. So we ask you to take a look at them, and if you have suggestions for improvement, we redo them every single solitary year. But as I said, in talking with a number of you, I was aware you didn't know that those things were being done every year, and it might be helpful to you. Do you have any questions concerning those before I move to what I got up here to do?
Thank you for providing that.
Right, all along, I think we assumed that you knew it and you got it and so forth, and so I think a couple of well-placed questions by several of you to let me know that no, you didn't, so. All right, I'm here to have approved the accountability model for our alternative schools. Our alternative schools can select a different model from the model that's used for regular schools. That means they don't have to go through the process of having a school grade. There are several models they can do. They can do the school grade. They can do their own plan that has to be approved by the state. They can send the grades back to the school as one of their options, or they can participate in what is called the progress model of the school system. Our schools, our two alternative schools have chosen for a number of years to take option C, which is what is called the progress model. They like that one and do fairly well. Our other schools would enjoy this one too. It's on a percentage, 60% of their accountability is on growth, 20% on achievement, 20% on persistence. Persistence means that the child's still enrolled in school at the end of the school year, so they stay there all year. They like that model and work on it very well. So their request is that you approve their use of option C for this school year. That would be for Horizons and Gateway.
Okay. Do I hear a motion that we approve the 2017-18 alternative accountability for Horizons and Gateway Schools.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the alternative accountability plan for Horizons and Gateway as presented by Dr. Burns.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Dr. Burns. Appreciate it. Next, we have Dr. Jeff Church, Associate Superintendent for Auxiliary Services.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Stone. Exhibit 7 is an item for your approval. It's a 3-year service contract for garbage disposal with Republic Services, formerly GDS. And I respectfully request approval of the contract as presented.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the 3-year contract with Republic Services for garbage disposal.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, any questions or comments?
They do our recycling as
They
well.
do our recycling
Right.
as well. Yes, ma'am.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Church.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that the board moves to closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3, litigation, and the parties of the litigation are Carol Hazel versus Cole County Schools.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And we don't expect any action after we come back out, so you're free to go. We appreciate your being here tonight. Have a safe trip home.